And I told her I don't care if he is her husband. Right now,
It's time to rise from the grave, pour yourself a cup, and enjoy the coffee crypt.
Voices from the Mausoleum is brought to you by the You Run Podcast Network and yourunpodcast.com. And a very special thank you to our Patreon subscribers.
Hey fam, Newman here from Movies for Days, your non-pretentious easy access movie chat podcast and weekly deep dive into any film from any genre, from any decade with anybody's guess as to how we chose that movie that week. Proud member of the You Run Podcast Network. Check us out where all great podcasts can be heard. And on Twitter at Movies Days. Movies is spelled regular, Days is spelled with a Z.
Good morning, and welcome to another episode of the Coffee Crypt, Coffee Break Edition. Just me today. Angel could not make it this weekend, so you get to see my shiny face. Actually, my shiny face ain't doing too hot these days. My son's in sort of like a scratching phase, so I have a bit of a feral cat rather than a toddler at the moment. So that's been fun. I don't know if you could actually see. Literally, like, I look like I was mauled. It is not pretty. But you know, parenting. Woo. So we got a couple of trailers to talk about today. I've been holding off on watching them, so I'm very excited. We are going to react to both Nosferatu and Heretic, and we got a few news items to talk about. So why don't we stop talking about my feral toddler and dive into some of these trailer reactions. All right, so first up we've got Nosferatu. Very excited. So this is coming out on Christmas. Very interesting release choice for this one. I dig it. I love it's not really a holiday themed horror film, but I love a little horror in December, and from Robert Eggers, so that's exciting. So let's dive in. Let's get some full screen action and just see what we've got.
Come to me. Come to me. Hear my call. Come to me.
It's beautiful shots already.
My dreams grow darker. Does evil come from within us? Or from beyond?
Willem Dafoe's face was like made for a period piece.
He is coming.
He is coming.
He is coming to us.
Oh, that looks really cool.
He's coming.
Who is coming to you, my child?
Was that like
We are here
jacket?
encountering
Candyman?
the vampire. Nosferatu.
Yeah, that one. Oh man. Yes, yeah, Christmas 24. Oh man. Yeah, that is yeah, that looks really cool. I love the cinematography. I mean, if you're gonna do a classic Nosferatu sort of story, you got to bring in some of those sort of timeless shots, and like just the cinematography, the coloring for here really sort of capturing that period. Even like some of the camera work has very old Hollywood vibes to it. Some of those like zoom ins and those crossfades, like if they had the equipment then that we have now, it like would look this polished. Yeah. I think the costuming looks phenomenal. Like I said, Willem Dafoe, perfect for a role like this. I like that we did not really see Nosferatu. Like I'm hold off on some of the like I haven't seen any behind the scenes images or any of that for the character. So I'm kind of happy they're gonna hold off on like actual, character reveal for the film itself. I'm a little hesitant to like, when there's a trailer too, they always sort of show too much. And then Nicholas Holt, oh my gosh, what's her name? Is in this as well. I feel so bad for forgetting. I can never remember everyone's names. But yeah, no, the cast looks great. The cinematography looks phenomenal. I'm really, I'm pretty sold. I still need to see. This is shame on me as a horror fan. I still need to see the original. It's just one of those things. I think that I've always just sort of wanted to. It's always been like, on a rainy day, I'll throw it on. I think it's right from like the 20s. So it's sort of like, I saw, oh my gosh, what's the, I'm like totally blank on the movie, Rosebud, that movie that every film student needs to see. I saw that because I was in film school. But the, I'm like shaming myself for not knowing the name of that movie. But yeah, no, I'm gonna probably I got until Christmas, so I'm gonna check out the original before this, just so I can kind of catch all the nods and see what's up. So let's hop on in over to Heretic. So this is with Hugh Grant, Sophie Thatcher, and Chloe East. So let's take a look and see what. I actually have no idea what the plot is for this movie. So let's see.
Hi, good afternoon, ma'am. Are you interested in learning about our Savior, Jesus Christ?
No.
Hi. Good afternoon. Hi, are you? My name is Sister Barnes, and oh my gosh.
But they use this song in this talk.
Are you interested in learning more about the Church of Jesus Christ?
Come on in.
We can't come inside unless another woman is present.
My wife is home. Does that count?
Great.
You like pie?
Yeah.
My wife has pie in the oven.
I could tell that you are a very spiritually curious person.
I think it is good to be religious, to find your faith in a doctrine you actually believe.
Well, our work here is done.
And I will go and check on the pie.
I love seeing Sophie Thatcher doing more. Why was that fishy? Did I miss something? Nobody likes the blueberry pie candle.
Can you fit through this? You're crazy. We just need to go home.
I won't keep you if you wish to leave. But I want you to choose which door to go through based on your faith.
What does this have to do with us leaving?
Everything.
I think that we're being studied.
It will make your hearts beat faster. It may even make you want to die.
So like sort of studying the power of belief.
Do not be afraid. You will witness a miracle.
Giving me like martyrs. Like it wasn't that they were sort of like understanding what a martyr is, and I mean that was a really bad synopsis of martyrs, but this idea of like understanding what like belief is all about, right? That's interesting. Hugh Grant too. I was gonna say he's underrated, but a lot of people, give him credit. So I enjoy Hugh Grant. I'm happy to see him sort of in this villain era per se. He's definitely not underrated. He's I don't know why I went to that, but I like seeing him sort of doing different projects. Like his range, I think, is underrated. I think he can do a lot. So yeah, we're gonna dive into some news now. Let us know what you thought about those trailers. I'm pretty excited. Heretic, I believe, is gonna be this fall. I didn't see a date. I probably might have missed it, but I know it's this fall, and then December is Nosferatu. So a lot of good horror coming up. Yeah, so we got a few news items to dig into. So first one, just a little bit of exciting news. Robert Englund and John Carpenter are getting their Hollywood stars, which is pretty cool. Feels a little long overdue. I think given how influential they've been over the decades, Robert Englund. Like Freddy Krueger alone. As big as that character was, you feel like this would have happened in the '80s, right? 80s and at least early '90s. By the latest. But John Carpenter too, right? Like with Halloween and The Thing. I'm predominantly Halloween, right? You think of the cultural significance of that franchise. This does feel very long overdue. So happy to see it finally happen, though. So not that they're watching this, but congrats to them. Cheers. Hey, share this along if you know them. Send them our congrats. I'm very tired. I'm recording this on a Saturday night. Get ready for tomorrow morning, and yeah, just chilling. So we have Michael Chernus. I don't know if that's his name. He is going to be playing John Wayne Gacy in a Peacock series based on those murders called Devil in Disguise. So I was never really super outspoken. I probably sent a couple of tweets here and there about it, but when Netflix did the one with Evan Peters, totally blanking on that killer's name. It seemed, especially when the victims' families are still around, to have a fictional story about these murders felt a bit off. Documentaries are one thing. I feel like something, just sort of looking at the case, and that's one thing. Even then, you really should kind of tread carefully. Try to be as respectful as you can. But with this one, what was interesting was the actor did say that I believe in the power of storytelling and hope by telling the story in a thoughtful way, we can play some part in preventing this from ever happening again. So it's interesting. Interesting perspective. Do we need a fictionalized version to do that? I don't know. I can't say that I have the answer to it. I think depending on what approach they take, not really trying to overly humanize the person, but at the same time, right? These killers are human, and they get to where they are because of X, Y, and Z. So, from a psychology perspective, it is interesting to look at. That's why that shows like Mindhunter do so well and what have you. So, we'll see. I guess we'll see how it turns out and what people really think about it. I don't know if anyone has spoken up about this, though. I haven't really been following it that closely as with the Evan Peters project. If any family members are saying that they're uncomfortable or unhappy with something like this going forward for the Gacy murders. But we'll see. What do you think? Is it sort of something that should be kind of taboo, left alone? Documentaries at most only, or are these real life serial killers sort of fair game? In fiction. So let me know. What do you think? It's a really interesting conversation, though. The other story I'd love to focus on, just the announcement that there's going to be a Stephen King adaptation of The Monkey, which I have not read yet. It is, I believe, a novella, but the cast is pretty exciting. We have Theo James from The White Lotus. Tatiana Maslany from She-Hulk, Orphan Black. I got to see her on stage for, I don't know if you're going to be able to see it, for Grey House. It was just a short run with Laurie Metcalf, horror stage play. She was great in that. So I love to see her do horror. We have Elijah Wood, who's going to be in it, Rowan Campbell, controversial actor from Halloween Ends, but I quite enjoy him. And Sarah Levy from Schitt's Creek, Eugene and Dan Levy's family. So really cool. So the monkey does follow twin brothers Hal and Bill, who discover their father's old monkey toy in the attic. A series of gruesome deaths start occurring all around them. The brothers decide to throw the monkey away and move on with their lives, growing apart over the years. But when mysterious deaths begin again, the brothers must reunite to find a way to destroy the monkey for good before it takes the lives of everyone close to them. Curious, who are the twin brothers? Colin O'Brien from Wonka's in it. I don't know who that is. And Christian Convery from Sweet Tooth. Don't know who that is. So, is it one of them? I don't know. So, I don't know what actors look like here. I was like, Theo James and Elijah Wood don't really look like they play twins. But even like fraternal twins sort of look alike, right? Even if they're not identical. Anyway. Silly tangent to go on, but it is coming from James Wan, who's producing with Atomic Monster and partnered with Neon. So interesting. I love sort of Neon's slice of horror that they are really kind of claiming a stake in. Atomic Monster, right? So these companies that aren't just Blumhouse, there's not sort of a monopoly happening at A24, right? We have to kind of see a nice variety. So that's awesome. So that is February 21st of next year. So not too far, like a little bit over 6 months, 6-7 months, something like that. But yeah, so the other bit of news I'm quite excited about. We got an announcement for a Megan spinoff for Soulmate, which is going to be like an erotic thriller. I assume focusing on like a sex toy AI kind of system, which would be really cool. That's coming from Blumhouse again in January 2nd, 2026. So we got a couple of years for that. But it is being directed by Kate Dolan, story by James Wan, Ingrid Bisu, and Raphael Jordan. So, it's a reworked script. Rewrote an original draft written by Raphael Jordan. So, okay, that'll be interesting. So it's a reworked script, I guess, to work within the world of Megan. So I know we're getting Megan 2.0. That was announced. And now we're getting Soulmate. So very interesting. Of all the things to sort of blow up. This is almost giving me a little bit of DC Universe or Marvel. DC is probably a little more guilty of this. Marvel, well, no, they're both sort of guilty of this. Like one thing goes well and then they announce like 10 different projects and then they end up having to pull back because, too many or one project didn't do as well as they thought it was. And so they have to scrap plans and, I hope they're not over trusting, they're not, putting the cart before the horse here, with the Megan universe. But Megan did do pretty well. It did 180 million at the box office. And I think it was pretty low budget. So it definitely made its money back and plus, and then some. So, I don't think they're wrong to say that at least Megan 2.0 will do well. But for Soulmate, they're going to have to do something a little bit different. If this is going to be an erotic thriller, I definitely don't think they can go the PG-13 route like they did with Megan. I think they're going to have to definitely stick with R. Just because it's just going to feel very hollow, right? I think if you do some sort of PG-13 version, and erotic thrillers don't really they're not as popular anymore, right? Or they're not really like, like your sort of what is it, like Basic Instinct, those sort of obsession films. I'm thinking like, the last one I could think of in theaters. I'm sure there have been others, I'm sure. But, the last one I remember seeing in theaters was Obsessed with Beyonce and Ali Larter. Oh man, that was a time. That was a time. But I'm hoping, we're in a bit of a better direction than that. But so that is it for a few stories, a few trailers, a quick little check-in with you guys. I hope you enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and we will see you again next weekend. Bye.